Alright guys, before we get into this video, I want to talk to you about Futtrading.co.uk. It's a website run by myself and V273 where we help you guys to make millions of coins on FIFA every single month. I know you guys mentioned that I talk about it a lot in my videos, but the reason for that is the website helps allow us both to be full-time, and it means I'm able to bring out 3, sometimes 4 videos a day on YouTube because I can pay for an editor and give those who can't afford the website as many trading tips as I possibly can do. £10 a month gets you access to Tier 1, which gives you buying and selling prices for silver cards, special cards, icons and Thursday flips. Tier 2 is £15 a month. It includes all of Tier 1 and access to live filters, our ChemStar area, which is extremely effective right now. Hundreds of thousands of coins being made every day from there. And our fluctuation area, where we monitor the market for lows and highs, allowing you to make as much coins as possible. So make sure you check it out. But for now, let's get into the video. Yo, what is up guys? Welcome back to a new video with me, Fuzzball40. As always, if you're new around here, make sure you subscribe down below. Make sure you turn on your notifications so you never miss an upload. As I always say, you get 3 uploads a day. The morning video is usually League SBC Methods of Glory, where I teach you guys how to craft packs and players for free. The problem I've got at the moment is that on the 1 million to 5 million account, I'm currently unassigning over 1 million coins worth of silvers, waiting for them to rise to hopefully make 1 million coins profit, something like that. So yeah, we're having to sit on those at the moment, but it will be back ASAP as soon as I can get those silvers sold. Evening video. This video is always a trading video teaching you guys how to start learning about the FIFA transfer market and how to start making coins on this game without having to buy FIFA points. And then the midnight content is always usually the 6 PM content. At the moment, we've got lots of upgrade packs on the game, so you'll be seeing loads of those being spammed out for you guys to see if they're worth it or not. Spoiler, the 82 plus did not seem worth it last night. I'm not going to lie to you. We've got a whole massive set of 81 to 87s, which seem like very, very good value to open up tonight. So we'll see how that goes. But when I brought out my last video on special card trading, a lot of you guys said that the way in which the special card trading is most effective on this game was difficult for you to do because of the sniping. Now, I'm going to be blunt with this. I don't like the mentality of it's too hard for me. Like, you can learn to do it and you can learn prices. And there are ways you can set yourself up. For example, setting up a spreadsheet of prices and the way that you can hold on to cards and know their values relatively easily. It comes with practice. It can't really be spoon-fed. You have to know and learn the market and try your hardest to remember prices because that's where things work. But there are ways you can look at certain areas of the market and start to cover yourself off and actually make quite good profit in the long term if you don't spread yourself too thin and start to focus on specific areas. And this video is going to talk all about fluctuations and how knowing one set of special cards and their fluctuations can really help you make coins. Now, the set of special cards I'm going to talk to you about today are ones to watches. Now, I would not advise you use ones to watches. The reason why I am using ones to watches is I know this market like the back of my hand. I would not suggest that you guys use ones to watches. I wouldn't suggest you use live cards really at all. You really want to use more stagnant cards like record breakers, rule breakers, freeze cards, those sort of cards, because they're not really affected by real life scenarios. So what we're going to do is head over to Futbin. I'm going to talk you through all the ideas and the way we look at fluctuations, and I'm going to show you how we do that on the game and put it into practice. So I will be right back with Futbin in 2 seconds time. Alright guys, so here we are on Futbin, and as you can see I've got ones to watch team 2 up and ones to watch team 1 up. So both of these teams are here. Now there are some cards in these 2 teams that I really like trading with. They're ones that I enjoy trading with, and I know their prices at the back of my hand. One of those is Alex Tellez there. His left-back card for Manchester United. He has a demand, relatively decent left-back. He's a Man United player, all that sort of stuff. Vidal is another one that I really like trading with, and Semedo is another one that I really like trading with. The reason why I like these guys is their price is quite consistent. They're relatively usable cards. Vidal less so, but it only takes 1 or 2 upgrades for him to get there, so he's held a value very well. Most people consider Semedo to be one of the best right-backs on the game. So that's why I trade with these guys specifically. Again, I would not advise you guys use live cards, use cards that are static. But we're going to take Arturo Vidal as an example. Now, this is currently his price on Xbox. Now, it will be slightly adjusted if I refresh, so we've got it clearer. But it is 52,500. So that's his current price on Xbox and PS. The same principle applies to both consoles, by the way. I see a lot of you guys ask questions, does this work on PS4, in the comment section. Everything I show you has the exact same principle on both consoles. But we're going to look at Xbox for the basis of this. So Arturo Vidal now, I'm only really interested in the last few days and what he's been doing for that amount of time. So since sort of maybe Christmas, 53,000. His daily averages are never below 48 really. Got really high this weekend to 58, come down to 55. But the most important thing here I'm interested about is looking at the last few days there and then his hourly graphs. And this is when we start to look at how he fluctuates. So today so far, his low so far has been 49,500 on average. His high has been 53,000, back down to 50,000, which is why I've just picked one up now. Yesterday saw a high of 60,000 coins before a big low in the sell-off of 49,000 coins. Saturday, relatively stable all day, 54, 1 point got as high as 59, dropped off, climbed again. But this is what we talk about when we talk about fluctuations, and yesterday was probably the biggest point of this. At his high point, this card was going for 60,000 coins yesterday, over 60,000 coins on average. At his low point, he could have been picked up at 49,000 coins. That was towards the end of it, that was towards Weekend League sell-off. Right now, we've got Weekend League sell-off, so the market is a little bit jittery. But what we are looking to do with these cards is get a knowledge of that area of the market. So specifically here, ones to watch is, and we want to know where the lows are and where the highs are. Now you can see from the daily averages, our Arturo Vidal's low is usually 48 to about 50,000 coins, and his high is about 58 to 60,000 coins. Does that mean that every single day Arturo Vidal hits 58,000 coins? No, it doesn't. What it does mean is that he gets your lowest you need to pick him up for realistically to save yourself any real risk is about 48 to 50,000 coins. What we then do is we go over to the FIFA transfer market and we have a little look at these cards and we see where we can pick them up at the lows. So we know that realistically right now he's 52,500 in the market. That's going to be a relative low in the market at the moment. There's not too much demand. It's Monday morning. There's no one really on the game at the moment. He may drop down further. But tonight, 6 p.m, people get on the game, build the teams, do what they want to do. He will see a rise. And then overnight, all special cards rise overnight. It is a basic rule of FIFA. Cards are more expensive overnight. So it allows you to sell these cards into overnight and you've not had to snipe them. All you have done is look for their lows, bought in at their lows, and then sold them at what is likely to be the high overnight. And you just need to monitor them. If you pick up Vidal's at 50k and suddenly see his price start to come down quite heavily, you can sell and get back out for no loss. If you see his cards start to rise exponentially, you then sell him and go, okay, cool. I'm going to take my coins out now and be relatively happy. And it means you haven't got a snipe. Nelson Semedo is another one. I love trading with this card. One of my favourites to pick up. Now, I picked this card up just sniping him. Legitimately, I picked this card up just sniping him on the special card filter I've shown you guys before. But again, Nelson Semedo is another card. We look at his averages recently, sort of 60s again, Weekend League up to 65. Look at his hourlies recently, 65 all day today. Saw a low of 60 at one point today before bouncing back to 65. Yesterday again, a low of 58, a high of 65, 63, 63. So now when I look at this, am I going to take the 65,000 coins here on face value? No, I'm not. That might be what he's currently looking at like on the market. Is that what he's selling for? Potentially yes, but also potentially no. I'm more interested in the daily averages that are saying he's in and around sort of the 64,000 coins, the 60,000 coins. Here today, yesterday seems more consistent at 63,000 coins. Saturday again, massive spike here to 86,000 coins, which I have no interest in whatsoever. But again, I'm looking more towards the 60 to 62, 63,000 coins. That's really where I see Semedo. I don't really see him at the ridiculously high 86s and 65s. Doesn't mean you won't sell him, because I can check if you're selling at that price. I'll show you that in a minute. It does just mean you've got to be a little bit careful. And again, Alex Tellez, 65,000 coins again here. I want to check him though. So today, his low's been about 63. And at points today, he's got as high as 70,000 coins. Now, he's come down again recently to 66. If we check yesterday, 65, a low of 58 at one point, 60,000 coins there. But consistently in and around the 63 to 64,000 coins. Sunday again, 70, we ignore that. Again, 63, 64,000 coins is really where he is. Now, keep those sort of figures in your head. Tellez, Semedo, in and around 63 to 64,000. Vidal, 53 to 55,000. Going to head back to the game now and show you how we start to think about picking these cards up. I will be right back. Alright guys, so here we are on my transfer targets. And so you've seen that I've looked at those cards. I've looked at Semedo, Vidal. I'm now going to go and look at Tellez in a second. But what I did was add cards to my transfer list to see if they're selling in that price. So I keep an idea. Over the whole course of the whole day, I can keep an idea and say, right, what are these cards actually currently selling for? And so, for example, Vidal with an anchor on him has sold for 52,500 in the last 10 minutes. Semedo with a shadow on him has sold for 65,000. So I know they are selling for in and around that price. I've got an idea of that. What I've also done is go and put a couple of guys here who have got bids on them. Because bids at this time of the day can be quite good. You can pick them up quite cheap. But I know Semedo is selling for that. I know Vidal is selling for that. So now what I do is I go to the transfer market and I'll have a little look. And I'll just see what these cards are doing. So for example, I've got Arturo Vidal here. There's a 49,500. I know an Arturo Vidal has sold for 52,500 without a shadow on him. So I know that's a relatively good buy. It's at the lower end of his fluctuation. It's relatively safe. Do I want to buy this one at 50,000? The reason why I'd say no to that is the chemistry style on him. I'm covering myself off for any potential loss with that Vidal because I've got a shadow on him. So I'm pretty safe in that, because even when I come to sell, if he's selling for 52,500 with an anchor, I could probably get 1 to 2k more with a shadow on him. Now, is it massive profit? No, it's not, but it does add up, especially throughout the whole day, throughout the weekend. You're looking at these fluctuations and you're like, okay, cool, I've got that. So I've armed myself with the knowledge that Vidal sells without a shadow for 52,500. I stick him on a transfer pile now. I'll come back to him in a bit. I'll let the fluctuation start to take place and see where I want to sell him. I'll then go to Semedo. I have a little look at Semedo. And I'll say, okay, cool, Nelson Semedo. We know one sold at 65, so let's see if there's any on the market at 65 at the moment. There's one for 64. Again, the one that sold had a shadow on it. That one hasn't got a shadow on it. I'll then flick up and say, okay, cool. 65 there. So I might just go, do you know what? Let's see if he's coming up now. Let's add him to my transfer targets. Let's see if either of these two cards sell for that price. The reason I'm doing that is I've got 2 Semedos in my transfer pile on bids that I can look to pick up and see if I can make a slight profit out of those cards that are just sitting there chilling. Now, the thing to understand about this is the profit margin. If you're putting 60,000 coins into a card, you don't really want 1k profit, 2k profit. You want a bit more. And so don't get hooked up or hung up on bidding for these cards in a way that means, right, we're going to make 2k profit. If you're going to make 2k profit, it's not the end of the world, but you can do that on the silver. And then finally, you see me set myself up now with Vidal and Semedo. So now we do the same thing with Tellez. We'll go and see what Tellez is actually selling for currently on the market. So if I just lower this down a little bit, we know that his lows have seen him at about his average is 64, 65. Right now, Tellez is extremely high on Xbox. He's at 68. He's at the high point of his fluctuation. So I don't really want to be buying this card at anywhere near this price. But what I will go and do is I'll add those two actually. Let's add those two to our transfer targets. We see if he sells. So we'll add them to transfer target, seeing if he's selling at 68,000 coins. So we know he's at the higher end of his fluctuation. But then we'll flip the filter and we'll go, okay, cool. We know he's selling for about that at the moment. So let's see if there's any available to bid on. Is there any available to bid on whatsoever? And there isn't really. So right now I have no interest in Tellez, but doesn't mean that I'm not going to keep an eye on Tellez. What it means is I know that he's got as high as 68,000 coins today. I'm now going to keep an eye on his price, keep an eye on what sells and how he sells. And if I see consistent sales at 68, 69,000, I know that I can look for an undercut on Tellez at some point today and go, right, well, he's selling relatively consistently for that. So if I come along to the market and I see one at 60, I go, well, actually, there is something in the region of 5k profit in that card. So all these guys add them to my transfer targets and they allow me to arm myself with that knowledge now. So again, I'll come back, just chill for a minute. I'll have a look at transfer target because something has just sold. And I'm going to go back to Semedo now because I've got those 2 that are ending very soon. And I want to know the accurate price of him on the market at the moment. And I can still see 64, 65 is there. He has sold for 65 with a shadow so far today. Want to get an idea of the nearest one to him with a shadow on at the moment as well. So 2 shadows sat there at 67, neither selling. So I reckon the sell price right now for him with a shadow would be comfortably 66,000 coins. There shouldn't be any problem with that if one has just sold for 65,000. And again, that Vidal that I just picked up a minute ago, one has just sold now for 53,000. So I know Vidal that I picked up at 49,000 is a relatively safe buy. They are selling for 53. Doesn't mean I just rest on my laurels. No, it doesn't. I have to keep an eye on that Vidal market now to see if he starts to creep up, sell those ones and move on. If he starts to come down, then start to think, okay, cool, do I sell mine? Do I list overnight? But the one thing that I will not do, and I never do, is panic. I will not panic whatsoever when it comes to buying and selling these cards because I know they always rise overnight. And the low point of the market realistically is now. The next couple of days, 2-3 days, the market's very, very low. It always rises into weekend league. You saw that on Vidal's daily average graph. If you look at Vidal's graph, it shows you that he got as high as 58 to 60,000 coins this weekend league. Now, do I want to hold these cards for 5 days? No, I don't. But it means I've got less risk because I know roughly what these cards do every 24 hours and every week. So what I'm going to go and do now is I'm going to go away. I'm going to see if we can pick up any of these cards, if we pick up any more Vidals or anything like that, and give you an idea. I have already got another Vidal in my transfer pile, which I bought for 50,000 coins. But yeah, I'm going to see if any Semedos come up, if any Tellez has come up, and we'll go from there. I will be right back. All right, guys, so we did end up picking up this Semedo, and as you can see the Vidals I told you I picked up at 50. He's now starting to climb to 54s, 55,000s. He's starting to get up on the market now, which is very good, and he's selling at 54, 55. So my Vidals, the market's coming up on them. I will monitor that market and see him sell hopefully for 55, 56, 57. But we did pick the Semedo up. Now, we know he sold for 65. I've had a look at the market, and the cheapest one on the market of Semedo now with a shadow is 68,000 coins. So I'm now watching the Semedo market slowly but surely start to rise. So my plan for Semedo would be ideally to sell him for about 68 to 70,000 coins once he's on the way up. I've got no reason to sell him just yet. I want to hold him off. I have got a list of my Vidals now, and ideally I'll get 54, 55 for them right now because I just want to get rid of them. I'm not actually trading with this today. I'm showing you guys how to do it. But this is, in essence, how you trade with special cards without having to snipe. All you are doing is watching the fluctuations on the market, watching how it works, watching how they come down, and then buying them in at that low point that you know what the low point is because you've looked at the graphs. So I know I got a comment yesterday asking me to sum up these videos for you guys at the end so you guys can sort of work with this and know the steps to do it. So the first thing you want to do is choose an area of the market of special cards. Ideally, do not choose one that is a live card. Avoid ones to watches, but the premise is still the same. Choose one that's static, whether it's freeze, rule breakers, record breakers, whichever one, choose one of those ones and start to learn the price of a fair few of those cards and write them down. So let's say you're looking at Golovin freeze, you want to have his low price that he is sold for, his sort of high price, have an idea of what he fluctuates throughout the day. Once you've done that, you want to go to the transfer market on FIFA and you want to see what he is currently selling for. And make sure you're adding them to your transfer target so you've got a clear idea of what he's selling for. When it comes to buying these cards, always pick them up with a hunter or a shadow card on them. They have extra value. It makes you more coins in the long term. What you are then looking to do is monitor that market. Watch as it rises, sell into the rise. Buy as it comes down, buy into the fall. Then the moment that the market is at its highest point, you sell these cards on for profit and you then make 3, 4, 5k profit per card that you have picked up. If you're on a lower budget, look at the lower end. If you're on a higher budget, look at the higher end. If you don't sell them straight away, never panic. List them overnight. Cards always rise overnight. You can give yourself a couple of K of an overlisting overnight and the card will probably sell. And if you're doing this method, try and do it early week when the market's at its lowest because the market's only going to rise into weekend league. You should make more profit into weekend league if you're having to hold them for a bit longer. But that is trading with special cards into fluctuations. It is a hella effective way to trade and it really builds your knowledge of how the FIFA transfer market is working because you can apply the knowledge of how the market is going up and down in these cards to anywhere else in the market, especially if you start to move on towards icons, which I hope to start showing you guys soon. But that's going to be the end of the video. If you are new around here, as always, make sure you subscribe down below. Make sure you turn on your notifications so you never miss an upload. But for now, lads, I am out. Peace out. I'll speak to you soon.